Hi students, today we're doing lesson 4, decimal place value. So this lesson is going to seem a lot like the whole number place values, but this time we're going to be doing decimals. So we're going to draw a box just like we did when we did whole numbers, but this time it's not going to be as big. We only need 7 places. Okay, so we need 7 places means I would need 6 lines, right? So I'm going to split that in half. Oops, no, that's not what I want to do. Sorry. Okay. Let me just try to kind of estimate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Okay, and we are going to put a big decimal point, and I'm going to do it in a different color so you can see it right there. So we're going to have 3 boxes to the left of the decimal point and 4 boxes to the right of the decimal point. And then here's going to be our place values. We're going to start at the decimal this time, okay? And this is going to be our ones and our tens and our hundreds. So we're not going all the way up to millions, right? Because really today we're talking about the decimal point or things to the right of the decimal point. So the one right next to the decimal point or right to the right of it is called tenths. And you have to have that TH on the end of it because that's what tells you that it's after the decimal point. So the next one is hundredths with a TH, hundredths. Then we have thousandths. I hope y'all can hear me saying the TH on the end. And then my last one over here is 10,000ths. And if we had more places, they would just keep going. The next one would be thousandths, then we would have millionths. Okay, so they keep going as far as they can go. But for our purposes here, we're only going to go 4 places past the decimal point. Okay, so those are our place values. And now let's talk about some of the different, or let's put a number in there real quick. Okay, let's put in 4 and then 0.3586. And I'm going to teach you how to say these. I had 1 year how to say this number. I had 1 year when I had every single kid in the class could say their numbers so well. And then every year after that, I have not had a class like that. So we're going to practice saying these numbers when we get back to class in person. I know we can't say them right now. So let's talk about this. We'll talk about how the word form goes. But first, let's do all the different forms of it. So, well, before I start that, if I had this number and I said, what place is the 5 in? Then you would say it's in the hundredths place, right? Okay, if I said what number is in the thousandths place, you would say 8 is in the thousandths place. Okay, so now let's write down the different forms that we have here. So standard form is just the number, right? So it's 4 and 3,586 10,000ths. Okay, and then next one is fraction form. So the fraction is very interesting here. So how you're going to do the fraction is you're going to take this number, the 4, and that's going to be your big number. And then after the decimal point, so this number right here, we're going to put that on top of the fraction. And now the question is, what goes on the bottom of the fraction? Well, what goes on the bottom is whatever place your 6 is in. So my 6 is in the 10,000ths place. So that 10,000 is going to be at the bottom of this fraction, okay? So in fraction form, this is 4 and 3,586 10,000ths, okay, over 10,000. So that's how you write the fraction form. Okay, now let's get to the word form. So this is how you say a decimal. Okay, you always take the part before the decimal and you write the word just like you would normally. This one's a pretty short one because it's just 4. So we're going to write 4. And then wherever the decimal is, that's the word you're going to use is and. So I'm going to say and then we're going to write this number. Okay, so the most important part here is the word and. You only use the word and when you have a decimal point. So Okay, don't write what I'm about to write over here. Just listen. If I have 806, some kids like to say 806. You don't really say the and here, okay? This is just 806. You say the and whenever you have a decimal point. So if this was 0.1, then you would say 806 and 1/10. Okay, so I got a little bit past what I was going to say, but I want you to see where that and is. It's supposed to be right where the decimal point is. Okay, so let's go back to this word right here. Okay, we had 4 and, remember, and is your decimal point, so 4 and then we're going to write out this number, the 3586. So if that was just a number and not after my decimal point, I would say it was 3,586. So I'm going to write that. I'm going to write 3,586. And then for the very end, you're going to write what the last one is in place of. So then I'm going to write 10 thousandths. Okay, and that's the way that you write a decimal number. So we have 4 and 3,586 10 thousandths. So that's the way that we write it in words. Okay, let me erase this little part. Okay, and then the next part is expanded form. So expanded form on decimals is very much like expanded form in the regular one, but we're going to keep that decimal there at all times. So we're going to start out with what's before the decimal, and I'm just going to put a 4. We don't need to put a decimal afterwards, because remember when we did expanded form in whole numbers, we always put a bunch of zeros afterwards. Well, if you have a 0 after a decimal, like let's say I had 4.00, that's the same as just 4. So we don't have to write all those zeros. So I just write 4, and then I'm going to put plus. And now the next one is 3. So now when I get past, let me rewrite the number down here. Hold on. Find a spot for it so that you can see it better. I'm just going to write it over here in red because you don't need to rewrite it. We're doing the same number, but I want to show you a few things on it. So now that I'm doing the 3, okay, I'm not going to write the 4 because I already did it, but I am always going to put the decimal point for anything after it. So I'm going to have plus 0.3. Now, instead of that 4, I can put a 0 there. You always want that 0 in front of your decimal point anytime you don't have a number in front of there, because it helps to see the decimal point. Okay, then I'm going to do my 5. So now I've done my 3, so now I'm going to do my 5. Now remember, when we were doing expanded form, we changed everything after it to 0. But because this is decimal points, I don't need to show those zeros. But I will need to show this space, this place, as being a 0. So I'm going to have 0.05. So see how that 3 turned into a 0.05 because I already have the 3 over here, so I don't need to write the 3 again. Okay, and then I have plus, so I did the 5. Now I'm going to look at the 8. Well, in front of that 8 needs to be 2 zeros because I need to keep this I need to keep the decimal point there, and I need to change that 3 and 5 to zeros and then have the 8. So my next one plus is going to be 0.008. Okay, so now I did my 8. So we don't ever write the 8 again in our expanded form. We already have it down. Now the last one is my 6. So for that one, I need how many places were before the 0 or after the decimal point. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, and then the 6. So when I write this, I'm going to put decimal 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros, and then the 6. And that's my expanded form. Okay, they also show you in your book how to do expanded form with multiplication, but we're not going to do those. Okay, and you won't ever be asked to